Hi guys, I'm Rachel Reiner, and if you don't know me, I'm the artist and author of 2 coloring books, Botanical Wonderland and Desert Wonderland. And if you didn't know this, I actually work at home, so I have a home studio, and I was going to give you guys a tour today. It's a long commute down the hallway. So this is my studio, and I usually have a few projects going on at a time, 10, 20 different things going on, all sorts of like ideas and brain dumps, and I use the walls to cover with my ideas. Sometimes they're finished projects, other times they're just ideas. I just wanted to let you guys know that you don't need to have all this space to become a great colorist or artist for that matter. I went to school for art. I also taught and I got my credential to teach art as well. I've spent countless hours and money getting my degree and learning how to be an artist. But in reality, I've learned that those things actually don't matter. And what really does matter is learning a few very simple techniques and applying them to your colorings. So I'm here to teach you those things, how to be a better colorist. I've spent so much time trying to figure out what those secrets are. And now that I know them, I'm so excited to show you guys what they are. So this may look really complex to you, but I'm gonna give you techniques and tips to show you how to go from not knowing how to color at all to being an expert colorist. And it's not that hard. I've spent a lot of time learning, experimenting with different techniques and tools, supplies, different types of paper. And I'm here to show you how to use those and apply them to your own colorings. You'll learn burnishing, blending, shading, embellishing, and so much more too. Do you ever feel like when you're coloring that some colors just don't work together? Well, there is a science behind it, and I'm gonna show you which colors work really well, which color harmonies to use for the best results, and how color can affect your mood. Do you ever feel happy or sad when you're coloring? Well, there is something behind that. One of the biggest keys to a great coloring is color choice. In this lesson, you will learn how to become familiar with the color wheel, understand color relationships, choose a dynamic color scheme, and apply it to your own colorings. Let's get rolling so you can become a better colorist. So this is the color wheel. It is made up of 12 different colors. They all have a relationship with one another, and knowing which ones to combine can create a dynamic composition. So here are the basics of the color wheel. We have 3 primary colors, red, blue, yellow. All other colors are created from these 3. When you combine the primary colors together, you get 3 secondary colors, violet, green, and orange. And all other colors in between are tertiary. So if you combine a primary and a secondary color, you get a tertiary color. So we have blue, violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red, violet. That is all you need to know to start arranging beautiful color schemes. Okay, moving on to color schemes. So we have warm colors and cool colors. You might already be very familiar with those. One half of the color wheel are warm colors and the other half are cool colors. Warm colors suggest heat, excitement, or energy. And cool colors suggest peacefulness, calm, and they also recede into the background more than warm colors. Here are some examples of how color affects your mood. Red can stand for passionate, fierce, powerful, strong, love, or danger. Green could be natural, soothing, organic, balanced, restful. And yellow could be excitement, enthusiasm, energy, happy, attention, warmth. Every color has psychological meaning. We're affected emotionally, mentally, and subconsciously by them. Color also gives us information. They tell us to be scared, happy, sad, or serene. They can even be used in art to evoke emotion. So complementary colors are colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. So we have violet and yellow, orange and blue, and red and green. Complementary colors are some of my very favorite color schemes because they draw attention, they create contrast, and they make a very bold statement. So when you use them, they bring a lot of attention to your drawing. Okay, here's an example of a complementary color scheme by artist Shirley Tutopia. So she used red and green. She also used tints and shades of those colors to add more depth. We'll go into that soon too. But you can see how she spread the colors out. She used green as a dominant color, and then tints, tones, and shades of red as the non-dominant color. So it brings a lot of attention to the top middle part of the plant. So an analogous color scheme is 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel. They work really well next to each other and they're very harmonious. Here's an example of an analogous color scheme by artist Emily Laughlin. So she uses tints of blues, red violets, and violet for this beautiful coloring. She also added a bit of golden yellow in there as an accent, but she just used it for a few elements, so it adds a tiny bit of warmth to the drawing. It pulls it all together. So the next color scheme is a split complement. It's kind of the same as a complementary color scheme, except it takes 2 colors on either side of its complement. For example, violet, its split complement would be yellow-orange and yellow-green. Now these are like a complementary color scheme, except for the split complement tends to soften out the colors. So a triadic color scheme, this is 3 different colors equal distance apart from each other on the color wheel. So we have violet, green, and orange, red, violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, then blue, violet, red, orange, and yellow, green. The other one that we're missing on here is the primary colors, so red, blue, and yellow. Since these colors are all equally distanced from each other on the color wheel, they tend to really grab attention. They create a lot of contrast and make a very bold statement. So this color scheme is regarded by many as one of the best color schemes to use. So I've given you an example of a triadic color scheme. So I used red, violet, blue, green, and yellow, orange. So what I did was I chose blue-green as a dominant color and used 2 as subdominant colors. One technique when using triadic colors is to use tints and shades of that one color. So I used a blue-green, but I also used white with it. So that would be a tint of the blue-green. And so that kind of gives it a sort of glow. It makes it have a different sort of shiny feel to it. Same with a lot of these other areas. And so what's one technique, if you don't want to just stick to your 3 triadic colors. Okay, so those are some of the most basic color schemes. Let's move on to a few others. Now to create neutrals, pastels, and monochromatic color schemes, you would use black and white, which are not on the color wheel. So neutrals are colors plus shades and tones. You can either have warm neutrals or cool neutrals. Pastels are a color from the color wheel mixed with white. So you can have warm pastels or cool pastels as well. And then a monochromatic color scheme is one color plus tints, tones, and shades. Let's go into some examples of that. So here's an example of earth tones or neutrals. The artist is Robin Lipner. These earth tones create a really organic or natural feel. So something that you would actually see in nature. So here's an example of a monochromatic color scheme that I did from Botanical Wonderland Artist Edition. So as you can see, it's all blue tones. So it kind of gives a feel of a frozen wonderland or icy or cool or peaceful feeling to it. Monochromatic color schemes are fun because actually it's one way to really work on your technique and to do a lot with just one material and one color. It simplifies a busy design and it's a really easy go-to. You only need one color. Now I haven't really gone into what tints, tones, and shades are. So a tint is one color from the color wheel plus white. A tone is a color plus gray, and a shade is a color plus black. We'll use a lot of tints, tones, and shades when we want to create depth. So adding white to a color or making a color a tint will lighten the color. It doesn't enhance vibrancy, but it makes it lighter. A tone and a shade will make your color darker. So if you're looking for a really vibrant color, you need to use the color as is. Okay, now that you know the basics, you can break the rules a little bit. However, there are some things to keep in mind to be successful with this. I recommend to limit your color palette to no more than 3 or 4 colors, maybe 5. But if you're choosing a lot of different colors, it might look a little bit too busy and unorganized. Also, don't mix complementary colors together unless you're trying to create brown or muddy colors. Here's a fun one, neon colors. So this is a triadic color scheme, although the artist Beck Williams also added in all the colors in between. So she has basically a rainbow palette. You would think that it would be too crazy and wouldn't work, but the reason why it does work is because it's evenly spaced out. There is a nice balance between each color. To accomplish a neon look without turning it pastel, what you need to do to up the vibrancy is to use more pressure with pencils or use markers. So make sure that you're using a color that doesn't have any tints, tones, or shades already in it. Here are a few more examples. So we have earth tones, analogous colors, pastels, and complementary colors. As you can see, the one on the bottom left, the artist Miranda Vayak uses organic neutral tones. The next one in the top, the analogous color scheme by Linda Russo, she uses a warm color scheme. So it has a really warm feel to it, a golden glow to it. This is a really successful color scheme. The next one, Pastel by Artie T. Puff on Instagram. She uses hints of yellow, red, green, and violet for sort of a playful scene. And the complementary color scheme by Ellen Schulten Frank, she uses red and green, so those are her main colors. She also uses tints, tones, and shades of those colors to create depth. Okay, so I want to give you 3 expert tips. So maybe you've chosen a color scheme. Now what? To really push your color scheme in your coloring, I would choose one dominant color and then make the rest accents. You can also use tints, tones, and shades to create depth. And then I would recommend assigning certain colors to specific shapes. So in your coloring, you can choose different size shapes or elements in that coloring and organize them in a balanced composition. Okay, so if you still don't know which colors to choose, you have 6 options here that I've given you to choose a color scheme quickly. So you could pick a mood. So maybe you're feeling a certain way today. Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling mysterious? Are you feeling calm? Maybe you're feeling really calm, so you're going to use a monochromatic blue color scheme. Maybe you're feeling really happy and fierce, so you might choose a triadic color scheme. You could use complementary colors. These create the most contrast. Definitely will grab attention. Or you could just keep it clean. So you could choose monochromatic colors for a very streamlined, modern look. The color you choose will affect the mood, so keep that in mind. Or you could go neutral. So add a pop of color with the neutral maybe. Or just keep it easy with only warm earth tones or cool earth tones. It's really easy on the eyes. You could also go triadic. Triadic color schemes are regarded as one of the best color schemes, and they're most pleasing to the eye. And if you don't know what else to do, you could always just rainbow it. And so use the primary colors and then everything in between, and you can create a really happy, fun, colorful look. So if you're still having a hard time deciding where to start with your color scheme, you could also use a palette generator. So online, if you go to paletteson.com, you can easily visualize a color palette. You can hit the randomize button and it'll suggest a dominant color scheme with accent colors you could use too. I'm super excited for you guys to integrate color theory into your own pieces. I know some of you are already amazing colorists, but it's always good to revisit the basics. Sometimes it can kickstart new ideas or remind you of old ones. I'm really looking forward to the next few lessons where we'll go in depth with all sorts of techniques. Combining your understanding of color theory with the specific skills I'm going to show you next will help your work truly bloom. Good luck, you guys!